Are you struggling with being consistent in something, whether that's maybe a diet, whether it's an exercise regime, whether it's something in your career, whether it's something in your business, whatever it is? Are you struggling with that and then you're not being consistent and it's knocking your confidence? Well, I'm going to give you 3 tips today on this. And if you stay until the end, I have an extra special bonus point for you then as well. Now, I've been guilty of so many times starting something and then stopping, particularly many times I've admittedly been on that New Year's resolution thing. Oh, let's go get healthy. And then I slipped off, particularly in my earlier 20s. And I remember being in university, and then you get like there's the guys in real cut shape, and then like you go out and hang out with them for a couple of days, and I'm like, right, I'm gonna get in shape. I wasn't like completely out of shape at that time, but I just wanted to be super shredded, super ripped. And I'd go to the gym a bit, eat well, and then I'd get caught back into the whole party scene, eating rubbish, eating junk food, and lose it. Right. I've done it in business. Like I was doing the business generating activities I needed to do for a few days, and then I slip off, right? It's in my early days of business. Now, there's been good times as well. And an example of that is my podcast and actually consistently making episodes. And now it's almost at 2.5 million downloads. Thank you very much, by the way, for listening today. So consistency can be a little bit of a challenge sometimes. And I'm going to give you some practical tips now, because I think a lot of us look at it the wrong way, and I know I have in the past. We're conditioned in this day and age with like our apps and everything we see on demand and these advertisements, that we want like the quick instant gratification, that dopamine fix, the feel-good chemical. We want it quick. And when something is appealing to us at the start, we get excited. We're like, oh, this is going to be good. And then we find it boring, we find it hard, and then it takes the pleasure away, and we're like, we don't want this, we want this quick pleasure. And actually we fall off of things. And as human beings, we tend to want to move towards pleasure, move away from pain. And when a process becomes repetitive, boring, hard, we find that painful and not much pleasure out of it anymore. So that's why I believe a lot of us fall off. And my own personal view, there's a great book called Willpower Doesn't Work. I think that's 100% true. If you just try and do something on pure will, it's not going to be sustainable. Now, how is it helping you by going through the same cycles again and again and not being consistent? Well, if you're anything like me, it's frustrating. It was frustrating. And I knocked my confidence, because I said I was going to do something. And when you say you're going to do something, you don't continue to do it, that knocks your trust in yourself. So we're going to go into some practical points today. The first one is make it sustainable. If you want to go to the gym, great, fantastic. Really, that's a great decision, and get fit. If you haven't been to the gym for 6 months and you decide, I'm going to go to the gym every day for an hour and a half, is that sustainable? Now, I'm not going to, again, it's up to you to answer that question. My personal view would be no, right? I'm running a challenge right now, and I came off 75 hard, and I built up to that level of fitness and doing that amount of activity. The people in my group now, I set them 2 lots of 20-minute exercise a day. And that can include walking. And it's sustainable for them. I set them a certain amount of water to drink, and then a diet of their choice. Not too harsh. And guess what? It's pretty sustainable. And the majority of them are pretty consistent. Even the ones who fell off slightly have got back up again, just because they had like illness or they're traveling or something. So you've got to make it sustainable. As human beings, we don't want to do things that are hard and boring. And a great book I'd recommend is Atomic Habits by James Clear. It talks about this in there as well. It's got to be accessible. It's got to be easy. If you're thinking, I'm going to read for 30 minutes a day, why not set yourself a target of reading 5 pages a day? And then if you want to carry on reading, you can. Give yourself that space to do it. Your minimum is just to read 5 pages or a few pages, right? Even some people set themselves a target of reading 1 page. It's got to be sustainable in order to be consistent. Be realistic. Don't try and be an overachiever, because all that's going to happen is you're going to get exhausted, and then you're going to stop, and then you're going to get frustrated with yourself. We want it to be sustainable. If there's a day and you're like, do you know what? I set myself 20 minutes to go to the gym today. That's great. Like, I did a 20-minute interval, which was intense the other day. Rather than me being in the gym for an hour and a half doing like random bits of cardio, I'll set myself an intense 20 minutes. Like that's great. But if you're in a gym in those cases, and I did a little bit more, if you're in a gym and you're like, okay, I've done my 20 minutes today, I would like to do, and I'm feeling good, I'd like to do another 20, 30 minutes. Great, do it. Don't necessarily jump into then saying that's what you got to do every single day. You can do extra if you feel like it in a day. Just set yourself a sustainable minimum. The second point, to be consistent, I touched on it a little bit in my group. You've got to have accountability. As human beings, when we say something to ourselves, there's a weird psychological thing that actually we're more likely to do something if we tell someone else. We often tell ourselves stuff and don't do it. How many times have you done that? I know I've certainly done that many times. When we're accountable and we've got a good accountability partner or program, even put it on social media, that is a really good tool for me. Telling everyone, okay, I'm doing 75 hard, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And people actually saw I was actually doing what I said I was going to do. I didn't want to slip. I didn't want to like go back on my word and people see that. So the second one is have good accountability. That could be a partner. That could be a group. That could be social media. It could be something. Put accountability in. And the third one is praise and reward yourself. Because when you praise and reward yourself, your nervous system wants to do more of it. You automatically want to default to those behaviors. You go, good job, Johnny, you made a podcast. I want to make more of them, right? If you're like, oh, I did my 20-minute workout today, or I went for a 20-minute walk. Well done, fantastic. Yes, great, praise yourself. You're going to be like, I want to do that again. So make sure you're praising yourself and reward yourself something at the end of the week. Now, I want to be really clear on this. Some people are like, okay, I exercise well for a week and I ate really healthy. Be specific if you set yourself a nutrition plan. Don't just say healthy. No one knows what that means. That's open for interpretation. Your brain will just do what it wants with it. So be very clear. But don't set yourself something like that and then get to the end of the week and say, my treat is a massive McDonald's meal. No, because that's just going back on what you set yourself. I'm not saying you can't have junk food ever again. Just make sure your reward is fairly kind of healthy, right? It's not like going out on the town and drinking a lot. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't do these things, by the way. You can do what you want. I'm just saying I would strongly guide you to think about your reward being something that's healthy and good for you and telling yourself, I deserve this. Maybe it's a spa day. Maybe it's a massage, something like that. Give yourself that reward. Okay. And then my final bonus point is look at your own success formula. Where have you been consistent in your life? And then start breaking down just a few points. Why is it I'm so consistent in that area? Maybe you are someone who's really good at exercising. Like, why is it that I'm so consistent in exercise? Because I see it as a must. I see the benefit. I'm always thinking of the benefits rather than the pain. I mean, this is just me. I'm always thinking of like what I'm going to feel after it. And that's why I do it. Maybe you're very consistent in your work. Like every day you show up on time, you hit the deadlines, you do a certain amount, what you say you're going to do the majority of the time. Why is that? Is it because you love your job, because you see the value in it? Is it because you got certain values? What is it that makes you consistent in one area, and how can you take that to another area? That would be my bonus point and question for you. So that's what I got for you today. 3 tips and then the bonus one on how to be more consistent to therefore increase more of your confidence. I appreciate you for being here. You're improving other people's lives by being the best you. And remember, you're in control of your own self-esteem and confidence.